This man is a pastry chef. Every day he kneads dough with his hands. He lives for the feel of it. Stretch, fold, press. But lately, his technique hit a wall, and his mood sank with it. Just then, his wife walked past the kitchen. A bold idea hit him. Why not test a brand new kneading method together? In under a minute, the two of them found a rhythm. Years of marriage, instant chemistry, inspiration sparked. They were just getting excited when a server walked in. The wife cleaned up the results on the table in a flash, acting like nothing happened. That night was Christmas. At dinner, the father-in-law bragged about his glory days. The chef wanted to share his breakthrough too, right as his phone rang. It was his tasting partner, the one who'd been helping him test dough. He excused himself, headed downstairs, and met her at the door. She brought a fresh pineapple bun, crispy on the outside, soft and warm inside. She was confident. He took a bite. From crust to filling, it was perfect. He called it a rare masterpiece on the spot. Back home, fired up, he showed the same wrapping technique to his wife, hoping it would help her break through too. But there's a saying in the kitchen, no pain like comparison. Once you taste excellence, everything else needs to level up. On his son's birthday, Ondřej is determined to be on time for once. He's a simple, decent man who runs a struggling little restaurant with his wife, Alice. They already have a boy, but Alice wants a second child. And that pressure sits on Ondřej's shoulders like a wet coat. He buys a gift, checks his watch, and waits for his ride. Rudolf, his father-in-law, pulls up 20 minutes late. Traffic, he says. Ondřej raises an eyebrow. They both know it wasn't traffic. If anyone asks, Rudolf adds, rolling the car forward, we say I rescued a foreign tourist. I don't lie, Ondřej mutters. Then let me do it, Rudolf grins. That's what family's for. At home, Alice is tight-lipped and furious, until Rudolf swoops in with the tourist story and a hug. The room softens. The birthday cake comes out. For 2 hours, everyone plays happy. That night, the walls are thin. Rudolf and his wife hold nothing back. Ondřej flinches, stares at the ceiling. Your dad can start the program anywhere, he tells Alice. That's called romance, she whispers, pulling him close. Come on, I want another baby. They try. The next morning, Rudolf sees him and laughs until he's wheezing. My daughter's mission is turning me into a pretzel, Ondřej grumbles. How do you keep your wife happy at your age? Rudolf shrugs like he's sharing a recipe. I think about other women. Ondřej just stares. That's your advice? He shrugs again. Can't pour from an empty cup, Carino. Fill yours first. The restaurant limps through lunch with 2 customers, 1 complaint, and a tilting salt shaker. Bills pile up. The special burns. Ondřej can feel a crack running through his life. Husband, father, provider, and somehow failing all 3. That evening, Rudolf drags him to a neighborhood bar to freshen the soul. Warm lights, too loud music, and a woman at the pool table who makes everything more complicated. Sarah. Rudolf introduces her casually. She's a regular vegetable delivery stop for him. And as it turns out, more than that. She meets Ondřej's eyes and holds them, a joke perched at the corner of her mouth. You need a girlfriend, Rudolf says, pointing across the room at a heavy-set woman laughing with friends. Life's short. She's your daughter, Ondřej snaps. You're asking me to cheat on your daughter. I'm asking you to not drown, Rudolf says, suddenly serious. You keep everyone afloat except yourself. Ondřej looks back at Sarah. She's still watching him, unafraid. He looks away first. Outside, rain starts. As the rain turns cold and hard, he shows up at home, soaked through, finds a pregnancy test on the table, and, too tired to think, sticks it in his mouth like a dumb prop. Alice takes it, eyes rimmed red. Negative. Again. The doctor says I'm fine, she says quietly. Maybe the problem is you. It lands like a bell in an empty church. The next morning, they sit in a clinic. A bored nurse hands Ondřej a bottle and points to a tiny room with a lock. He stares at the white wall. Nothing. The clinic's closing in 15 minutes. He tries to clear his head. He tries not to think of the bills, the burned special, the birthday cake he almost missed. He fails. His brain sprints back to the bar. Sarah, the joke in her eyes, the way she didn't flinch, and just as his pulse starts to steady, the door creaks. Alice, are you okay? When they leave, the bottle is empty. A few nights pass like this. Alice circles him like a storm she doesn't want to be. I want a family. Ondřej goes to the restaurant, and Sarah turns up too. So he sends the cook home and takes over the stove himself, plating Sarah's favorite dish the way she likes it. She says she came to return his jacket, but forgot it at home and invites him over, and at her place, with her cheeky friend hanging around, they sleep together, after which Ondřej happily heads home with his jacket, but Alice smells unfamiliar perfume and finds a pair of panties in the pocket. Cornered, Ondřej tries to blame Rudolf, and that same night, Rudolf gets thrown out by his wife, Martha. So Ondřej sneaks him a blanket in the storeroom and mumbles an apology, and Rudolf, half proud, half bitter, boasts that in 35 years of marriage, he's been with 168 women and never got caught. Yet Ondřej steps out once, and he's the one who takes the fall. What Rudolf doesn't know is Martha has known for years. He kept trophies, little photos, and she tells Alice she never exposed him because he always came back to her in the end and bought her something expensive as penance. And this time, she says, he'll bring something truly grand. The next day, Rudolf returns Sarah's panties, then buys a costly gift for Martha, and Martha takes it to the market to show a friend when thieves snatch her purse, dump the coins, toss the bag. She finds the empty purse and smiles with relief. Then a car hits her, and by evening, while Rudolf is laying out candles for makeup night, the police knock to tell him Martha is dead. After that, Rudolf is not the same man. No flirty jokes, no side trips. He drinks too much, falls apart, and nothing tempts him anymore. Meanwhile, Ondřej is splitting himself between home and the affair. And one night, Alice quietly collects his and later learns from the doctor that Ondřej is completely fine, so the problem was never his body, but the stress between them. Ondřej keeps seeing Sarah, even fooling around in a parked car until the brakes slip and they crash into a tree. And when Alice asks, he claims the brakes failed and says they should sell the car for a cheaper one, but Alice points out they don't have the money. The next day, Ondřej cuts costs by cooking himself and turning the cook into a waiter, and his food is actually great. Word spreads, tables fill, and the restaurant finally starts to breathe. With the new cash flow, he buys another car and keeps meeting Sarah, can't get her out of his head, and still jumps on any chance with Alice because the pressure for a second baby hasn't stopped. Rudolf notices his daughter is smiling again and understands what that means. So on Christmas, he pulls Ondřej aside and says he knows there's another woman and tells him to stop now. Don't cheat on Alice anymore, because affairs feel like oxygen until they burn the whole house down. Rudolf warns Ondřej that if Alice finds out about the affair, she'll make him pay. Ondřej denies everything, but right then, Sarah calls from outside the house, asking to see him. So he slips out with the trash, wishes her a quick Merry Christmas, and hurries back in, leaving Sarah hurt. He even swaps Sarah's gift and gives it to Alice, but the dress is too big and the mistake stings. The next day, Sarah walks into the restaurant and introduces herself to Alice, and when Ondřej spots her, he knows trouble is coming. Yet Alice says Sarah wants a job and they should hire her. Customers will come for the service, she jokes, and Sarah is hired and put up at Rudolf's place. When Sarah moves in, Alice offers food, but Sarah says they've eaten, and she and Ondřej are going to play tennis, which makes Alice happy. On the court, Ondřej tires quickly, and Alice teases him. Rudolf drives off in his taxi, and as soon as he's gone, Ondřej slips away to meet Sarah. He asks why she's following him, and she admits she's fallen in love, and this was the only way to be near him. Ondřej reminds her they agreed it was just for fun, but she says that was then, lifts the curtain, and whispers, "If it's love, why be afraid?" Ondřej ducks so Alice won't see. From the house, Alice notices movement and thinks Sarah is with some boyfriend. She calls Ondřej to come home because she's in the mood, and he feeds her an excuse. Meanwhile, Rudolf takes a rose to Martha's grave and finds a yellow flower already there, rushes home, and flips through Martha's diary. Later, in a rage, he goes to dump Martha's ashes on the road, but Ondřej stops him and asks why. Rudolf says Martha cheated on him for 15 years. The yellow blooms came from her lover. There's even a photo, and Ondřej shoots back that Rudolf cheated on Martha for 35 years. Still, Rudolf shouts she shouldn't have done it, grabs a stick, and stomps off to find the man. Ondřej returns to Alice. Sarah sees from the window and burns with jealousy. Rudolf discovers Martha's lover is a blind man, and sitting with him, learns Martha loved only yellow flowers and chose a blind partner because she knew how much he yearned to see. She wanted to be fully, tenderly loved, not just admired. The truth unravels Rudolf. He drinks himself sick, and Ondřej carries him home, where Rudolf sits at the table, silent and hollow, and for the first time understanding what it means to lose the person who kept forgiving you. The next day, both Sarah and Alice forget to put their dresses away. Alice spots Sarah's dress and recognizes it as the same one Ondřej gave her, so she starts watching him closely, even though, unknown to Ondřej, Alice herself has been flirting with the waiter since the restaurant first opened. Ondřej books a hotel room for Sarah, and Alice cleverly sees him go in, deciding to catch him red-handed. Inside, Sarah is glowing. Ondřej planned dinner, but he tells her it has to end. He can't keep cheating on Alice. Sarah snaps, raises her voice. He suddenly notices Alice in the doorway and ducks under the table. Alice asks Sarah whom she's meeting. Sarah lies that she's here with her boyfriend and says they met playing pool, which only deepens Alice's suspicion. Alice wonders why Sarah isn't eating. Sarah blurts out that she's pregnant, and Ondřej freezes beneath the table. The waiter keeps them talking long enough for Ondřej to slip out and sprint downstairs, where he runs into Rudolf and begs for help. Rudolf kills the lights and has the waiter bring a cake to Sarah and Alice's table. As Sarah blows out the candle, Rudolf steps into the circle of light. Alice is stunned. Mom hasn't even been gone that long, and you two are already dating? And she's pregnant. Rudolf, shaken but firm, says he still aches for Martha, but with Sarah, he's found a reason to live, then asks Sarah to share her life with him. She smiles through the tears and says yes. In the aftermath, Alice meets Ondřej outside and, to his shock, tells him she's pregnant too. The joy bright and complicated in her eyes. Rudolf scatters Martha's ashes gently in the garden and starts over with Sarah. Ondřej quietly thanks his father-in-law for saving him from disaster, takes Alice's hand, and the story ends with all four of them facing forward, messy, human, and for once, honest. If this story moved you even a little, please subscribe and feel it with me. And if you want to watch another amazing movie story, click on the videos on your screen.